When I was preparing this homily and I was going over the gospel and I read the first part and it talked about salt, and I said, well, you know what, that's a good topic to talk about. And then I remembered my doctor said I have to stay away from salt because of my blood pressure and stuff like that. So then I read on, right, and it talks about light. And I got to be honest with you, the first thing that came to mind is all the songs that have light in them, right? This little light of mine, you light up my life, blinded by the light. And I thought about it and I said, nope, I'm not going to sing because it wouldn't be good for y'all. But as Catholic Christians, we have to know and understand the source of our light is Jesus Christ. I'm going to repeat that, right? As Catholic Christians, we have to know and understand that the source of our light is Jesus Christ. You see, I know you've heard that analogy of a candle before, right? A candle burns, and if it's a wax candle, it burns completely. It surrenders itself to give light to the room. Our candles here have fuel in it. And that fuel represents that wax, right? Because eventually that fuel is just going to be burned up completely. And that candle can't light itself. It has to have another source of light to light it. And just like us, our source of light is Jesus Christ. And He calls us to be the light in the world, to go out and do those things that need to be done, because that's why He's calling us. To shed that light to all others, that they can see our deeds, and as we do, to glorify God in everything we do. And I'm going to tell you, I am proud to be part of this parish. Because this parish, this church parish, goes out and is that light to those in need. When someone's in trouble and needs aid, there are people in this parish that jump up and offer that assistance without even thought. For Lent, we were talking about a Lenten charity, right? Every year for Lent, we pick a local charity and we collect items and money and all of this to give to someone local, to shine that light on them that Jesus Christ is calling us to be. You see, that's the light, right? You can't be hidden once we start to show that light. And I'm not going to try to name people that do all of these things because I'll forget somebody, because there's just so many. But I just want to let you know, if you're not one of them, they can use some help. Because there are so many things to be done. That we're all called to be doing those things. And all you have to do is ask or offer. And they'll be glad to have you. You see, because we're called to go out and do for others, right? Our light inside of us is not for us. Our light is for everyone else. That's what Jesus is telling us. That we have to go out and to glorify God through what we do for others. And if we're doing it for ourselves, it's going to burn out. If we're doing it with Christ as our source, it's going to continue. I read a book one day, well, more than one day, but I read a book, and there's not a whole lot of books that I've read all the way through. But this is a book about a saint, actually 3 saints, but the first one was around the year 1000. And he was about 15 years old when he decided he wanted to become a Benedictine monk. He's St. Robert the Rebel. And his dad was a knight, and he expected his son to become a knight with him. So he was shocked when his son came up to him and said he wanted to join the Benedictines. He wanted to become a monk. And I'll never forget the quote that he made to his son when he gave him his blessing. Because he told him, he said, son, he says, you say that your heart burns for Christ. Then let it burn and burn well, like the sun and the stars, not like wheat or straw, and burn until it burns out. Because today, the church doesn't need monks. It needs saints. And to change his words a little bit, today, the church doesn't need good people. It needs saints. Because each and every one of us is called to be a saint. And if you sit there and you say, "Whew, well, that's not me," trust me, it is you. God is calling you to be a saint. God is calling us to be a better Christian, a better Catholic than we were yesterday. And if we continue to improve in our lives, focus on the positives, do for those who need things done for them, we're going to become those saints that God is calling us to be. We're going to shine that light from within us on those around us. You see, Jesus Christ came to this world to be the light for us. He was lifted up on the cross. He surrendered everything for us. And He's asking us to surrender to Him. He's asking us to listen to Him. But how do we listen? We have to pray. We have to take that time each and every day to spend time in conversation with Jesus Christ so that we can learn what He needs us to do, so that He can give us the courage to go to the places that we're afraid to go. We can have the courage to stand up and be that light in the world. Because the darkness around us is scary. But we have a God who loves us, who's calling us to dispel the darkness. My favorite phrase from St. Francis de Sales, and y'all have heard this before, and some of you probably know what I'm going to say already. St. Francis de Sales said, "Everybody needs a half an hour of prayer every day, unless you're busy. Then you need an hour." St. Francis is trying to tell us that the more distractions that life throws in our way, the closer we need to get to Jesus Christ. The more we need to sit down and speak to Him and rely on Him. Because He is the source of our light. He is the source of everything in our life. And He's calling us to be saints. He's calling us to do those things that need to be done. Each and every one of us, He's asking us today to surrender. Allow His light to shine through us. And I hate to say it, but that so our little light can shine. He's asking us to surrender to Him. He's asking us to be the light in the world. Are we ready to answer? Are we ready to speak to Him daily? Listen to Him daily? Are we ready to allow Him to guide us through the darkness?